here.
Oh, that's right.
And you're great.
You're great. Can I see your tattoo that's on your wrist? I don't have any tattoos, but I was thinking about one on my wrist, but it's banned. Is that painful?
It's one of the easier places.
Okay. All right.
Lively. One more time. All right. I'm loving all the big energy. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Asheville. Bienvenidos a la congregation. I messed that up a lot. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Asheville. Bienvenidos a la Congregación Unitaria Universitaria de Asheville. We're glad that you're here. Somos agradecidos que estén aquí. Whoever you love, however you identify, wherever you come from, we're happy that you've chosen to be here with us today. We're doing reminders during this flu season that masks are always available out front. We're a mask-friendly congregation. And this is something I always forget to do. Well, I always forget to introduce myself. My name is Timothy T.K. Browning. I did that in the first service, too. My name is T.K. Browning. I'm the ministerial intern, one of the ministerial interns here at UU Asheville. I'm helped out today by a lovely crew. Laurel Jernigan is going to be my worship associate. Can we say thank you, Laurel? AV Tech is Simon Jacobs. Can we say thank you, Simon? Our music, as always, lovely, contributed by Les and our choir. So thank you, Les, and the choir. Going to be great. Who are our ushers? Ushers want to wave their hands today, get a thank you. They're still up front. Thank you, ushers. Anyone else need a thank you? Anyone else out here? Yeah. Oh, we will thank our chalice lighters. They'll be up here in a minute. Yeah, just happy to see all you today. Now I'm going to leave you with the gift of our opening music.
This
Good morning. As we light our chalice today, we're going to have a call-in response reading from the Gray Hymnal. So these are not going to be on the screen, so if you actually need to pull out your books today and flip towards the back, you're going to flip past all of the music pages, and then in the back there's some short paragraphs with numbers at the top, and we're looking for number 655. And while we're reading this, Clementine and Ren are going to come light our chalice for us. I'll be reading the regular font, and then if you guys will respond with the italicized. Okay, watch your hair, girls. Now you know what to do. Okay, you can go ahead and start. Change alone is unchanging. Whosoever wishes to know about the world must learn about it in its particular details. In searching for the truth, be ready for the unexpected. The same road goes both up and down. Not I, but the world says it, all is one. Thank you. And now, if you'll rise and body your spirit for the singing of hymn number 188. The words will be on the screen. We will be singing both in English and Spanish today.
All right. Time for our wisdom story today. We're going to do a joint activity. Can I get some of these? Just take this up here. We are going together to design a church. Does anyone want to draw the church? All right, go ahead, Ren. Anyone else want to help draw it? Okay, yeah. Come on up, buddy. All right, here they come. All right. What do we think are some of the essential parts of a church?
A bell.
A bell? I don't think we have a bell. Yeah, what are some of the essential things that are actually here physically, like in the church?
Doors.
Doors, got to be able to get in.
Windows.
Windows, get some light in there.
Pianos.
Good pianos, yeah. What are things that we need in a church that aren't things? Can anybody think of something?
A bell.
A bell. Really? A metaphorical bell.
I'm just gonna put like a tiny extra bell right here.
Yeah.
In case like the gremlins take with the Kung Fu Bird people, if they take the bell, like we got this extra one.
The chalice, I mean.
A chalice, that's a good piece. Can someone draw us a chalice?
I will.
We can have as many chalices as we want.
I'm gonna make one up here. I'm gonna draw an owl.
All right, what are some feelings we need at church? The chalice is right there if you want an example. The two circles in the fire?
This is probably the weirdest one yet.
The weirdest chalice yet. What are some feelings we need at church? Anybody?
Oh, I need red.
What are some feelings you feel at church sometimes?
I don't know. Calm.
Calm. You want to jump in? Anybody else? Feelings?
Excited.
Fire.
What are some of the people we need at church?
People like you.
People like me, the intern minister.
We need teachers.
Lots of teachers for all the classes.
Well, yeah, teachers.
What are some things you could imagine being in a church that you've never seen in a church before?
Birds getting accidentally stuck inside.
What's it called when there's like the tall steeple where there's like the nesting, the roosting? Anybody know those things where they have like, we saw that in Egypt a lot. They have these tall towers where the birds live in their homes.
Oh yeah,
Rookery.
like don't know the name.
All right, now I think we need to give our church a name. I want everyone to put one word into the name of the church. Just start writing, write them down, and then we'll read out the.
Wait, hold up. We gotta add people. Like, excuse me. Here, a little sign with the name.
Can I put a pride flag?
You can definitely put a pride flag, yeah.
This is the sign.
What is that?
The sign for the name of
Oh, the sign for the name of the church name.
UU Church.
UU Church. Yeah. You can think up as funky of words as you want to name the church.
Oh, yeah.
But no potty words, please. I know where Ren was going.
What?
No potty words.
You called my name?
No, Ren.
Oh.
What's your name?
Rain.
Rain? Oh, yeah, I knew that.
Oh, Rain.
Yeah,
R-A-I-N.
I knew that.
It's a twisted human.
Don't. The arms are here.
All right, we need a name.
Lockman.
Lockman. So it's the Lockman Church. Anything else? UU churches, twice.
I'll write it up here.
Yeah.
You.
I guess we just really like the name.
I don't know how to write church.
It's right there next to the doors.
C-H-U-R-C.
Or you can put congregation, because I always mix up the two. All right, are we ready to show it?
No, not quite yet. I'm almost.
Anticipation is building.
That's a really weird one, but it's close enough. UU Church.
Hmm.
What am I going to add again? Oh, I don't know. It's what you want to add. Oh, wait, we got. I got to just add this for no reason. Can I have the more pencils?
I think we're gonna need to wrap up. I'll leave this out after, and we can finish it after church too. I'll bring it down to the playground. All right, let's show it off now. Ready? Yeah. Ready or not? Simon's gonna get a nice zoom in on it for the people at home too. All right, who's gonna hold it up? I only have so many hands. Oh, yeah. There you go. Nice. All right. You can set it down. Now we are going to send you out to classes. If this is your first time here, you will find the teachers gathered in Sandberg Hall with signs based on grade level. You're welcome to accompany your kids down to classes to get them settled if they're new. And we will sing as you go. Now is the time to acknowledge our joys or sorrows with a ritual of water and rocks. Laurel, do you want to come up and add the brime? We're just gonna keep going. I'm gonna grab that door. For all that grieves our heart, we add salt to brine the water in this vessel, seeded from the water from our water communion. For all that brings our hearts joy or celebration, we scatter flower petals to symbolize our happiness or contentment, also seeded with water from our water communion. You're now welcome to come up and add a rock from the basin there, symbolizing a joy or sorrow. We form two lines that come down, split by that banister, and we circle back out this way to our seats. Thanks. The music for this piece. If you need a hug, stop me, I'll give you a hug. The book of love is long and boring. No one can lift the damn thing. It's full of charts and facts and figures and instructions for dancing. But I love it when you read to me. You can read me anything. The book of love has music in it, and in fact that's where music comes from. Some of it is just transcendental. Some of it is just really dumb. But I love it when you sing to me, and you can sing me anything. The book of love is long and boring, and written very long ago. It's full of flowers and heart-shaped boxes and things we're all too young to know. But I love it when you give me things, and you can give me anything. I lost the music, but thanks, y'all. If you have shared a joy, know we rejoice with you. If you have shared a sorrow, know that you are held in love and care by this community. We add these last rocks for all the joys and sorrows of our community carried by those not present with us today. I wanted to note the passing of two members of this congregation, Carrie Rogers and Ellen Kotz. Our community is one community, gathered or apart.
So I have a very quick story about how my family came to UUism. It was not something I was brought up with. We first came to UUCA for the same reasons as many others, or at least many other folks that I've talked to, because of our kids. Our oldest kid started asking questions about the world that we could stumble through answering, but we really wanted to find a way to explore big ideas within a community. And my husband was raised as a Southern Baptist, and I was raised by former disenfranchised Presbyterians, and we wanted a place that was not pushy on any one religious belief. Nancy Bragg, I don't know if Nancy's here, brought us here to our first service and could not have been more welcoming, which we would learn was not only her personally, but also the ethos of this congregation. It was around 2015, and there would be a lot going on in that time politically and in the world that felt incomprehensible and unsettling. And at our first service, we had the honor to hear Reverend Mark give an incredibly smart, thoroughly researched, well thought out, beautifully delivered sermon that touched on a lot of the things that I had been grappling with personally. I was sold. This immediately felt like a place where we would be held in community and could also explore and push ourselves to confront the challenges of the day as well as our understanding of spirituality and faith. If I were writing a love letter to UUism, it would definitely include an appreciation for seeking wisdom from many perspectives and traditions, nurturing curiosity, opening doors, and welcoming people. And then it would probably end with gratitude for being a place of refuge during the turbulent years when we first joined, as well as those we're facing now.
Lovely. We did that one right after the storm too, right, Les? Wasn't that one we sung right after the storm as well?
I think so.
Yeah.
Sometime in the fall.
It's all a blur. This is my love letter to Unitarian Universalism. And like all good love letters, it begins with an obscure philosophical reference to Søren Kierkegaard. In Kierkegaard's first published work, in Danish, Enter Eller, in English, Either Or, he argues that there are two primary approaches to life, the moral and the beautiful. The book itself is ponderous and long, like the Book of Love, but I was introduced to the idea of the work through the wonderful novel of the same name, Either Or, by Elif Batuman. That's the second thing every great love letter needs, a book recommendation. Unitarian Universalism exists primarily because it serves a moral societal purpose. At times, it lives into the approach that Kierkegaard would add later in life as the highest approach, the religious. But no deity demanded its formation, no government decrees its destiny. The pews of UU congregations and fellowships and societies continue to fill because people find here a spiritual, moral home that they cannot find as fully elsewhere. Take this graph, for example. It's a bit hard to see, I think, from some angles, but it's called Support for Christian Nationalism by Religious Affiliation. 10% of all Americans are adherents of Christian nationalist ideals, 20% are sympathizers, and then it's broken down by faith bodies, white evangelical Protestants. The Latter-day Saints, the church of my childhood, is there in the middle. If you go all the way down to the bottom, you've got us, the Unitarian Universalists. If you are one of the 5% that sympathize with Christian nationalism and still showed up today, that was good on you. You hold spaces better than I could. This country, in all seriousness, is facing a crisis where we could easily tip. The 10% with the support of the 20 could tip us into something quite ugly, and UUs represent a meaningful moral voice opposed to that. So in a lot of important ways, this is a moral space, and it's a space where a lot of people come because they cannot find anywhere else to go that will welcome them fully as who they are. If there's another pulpit that today is being filled by a polyamorous, questioningly queer, cis male, mulleted minister in a skirt, it's got to be a UU church. I don't think there's anybody else. But on this weekend dedicated to love, I feel compelled to argue for the existence and flourishing of Unitarian Universalism, not just for its moral usefulness, its welcoming tradition, or its religious history, but also for its undersung, paradoxical, and compelling beauty. For what is love but care for someone, something or some cause beyond their usefulness to us? A holding of beauty beyond productive potential. My love of Unitarian Universalism is a deep love for the paradox that it puts before me each time I try to say something meaningful about what it is to be Unitarian Universalists. I'll be honest, this was not as easy a sermon to write as I thought it would be. I love Unitarian Universalism, that feels clear to me, but every time I thought I'd gotten at the real answer for why, something called me to dive in deeper. I'm not sure I got all the way. In seminary, we learned that the thesis of a sermon should fit on the back of a postage stamp. For this sermon, I kept needing a bigger and bigger postage stamp. I love Unitarian Universalism, that fits, but I love it not because it's simple, I love it because it is so wondrously complex. That might just fit. One of the great beauties of Unitarian Universalism, the one among many that I want to focus on today, is the great dramatic tension that I believe exists at the center of this faith. A tension that mirrors some of the great dramatic tensions of life itself. As a symbol for that tension, I want to point to our chalice here. I took the matches to light something else earlier this week and forgot to put them back, so the chalice remained unlit for the first bit of last service. We got it today, though. This two-ring chalice was once the primary symbol of our faith. It's been replaced recently with a flame over two overlapping UUs to form a chalice. The merger of the American Unitarian Association and the Universalist Church of America in 1961 that forged this new symbol was decades in the making, as theological, ecclesiastical, and administrative differences between the two denominations resulted in a faith not of two viewpoints merged into one, but two faiths of similar shape joining together in just the right spots for a stable equilibrium to form these last 60 years, 70 years. These two faiths at their theological and cultural heights were not compelling simply as liberal alternatives to more conservative Christian faiths in their heyday at the founding of this country, but more, I believe, because they tried to give more beautiful answers to some of the deeper questions of our existence. Unitarians saw in much of Christianity a basic belief that humans were broken, fundamentally flawed, and in need of saving. For those who saw us as broken, an otherworldly Savior was needed, someone perfect, flawless, willing to sacrifice in purity for our impurities. And thus, the Jesus of the Trinity was born, God made flesh. For Unitarians, the Jesus of the Bible was not a part of God mysteriously cordoned off into human flesh. They saw instead in Jesus one of God's beloved creations, much more like us than not, or perhaps fully like us, simply representing the best of which we were capable. For Universalists, what hurt in Christianity was the idea of a vengeful, angry God ready to send the majority of us to hell to suffer for all mistakes that we made in this life. It did not make sense to them that a loving, all-powerful God would need to punish God's creation for existing in the conditions that were made for them. They offered instead the image of a God ready to forgive all things with time, with a plan for us to make our way back home to something welcoming and caring beyond this life. Those are both incredibly simplistic encapsulations of two deep and diverse theological traditions. There's much more beauty and complexity in that history to unearth for anyone willing to dig. And even so, we no longer unite around those shared theological beliefs, as beautiful as they are. But there are threads, deeper questions, existential exigencies that remain a part of our heritage. The Unitarian in our heritage still calls us back to look deeply into each human soul and into any animal soul we encounter for the spark of the divine, however we conceive of that. I still get endless awe just people watching, realizing that each person that goes by has an interior life just as rich, just as full as my own. All that I know of life, everything I've ever conceived of, is housed within this terribly fragile human body. And so it is with every person I meet. The Universalist in our heritage still calls us to put all that life into perspective. We are somehow, truly, magically having this meeting right now on a ball of rock, hard on the outside, molten on the inside, hurtling through space around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour. while the sun itself is hurtling through space at 483,000 miles per hour. The fact that we are here at all for so wild and brief a moment is quite simply beyond my comprehension. The universalist in our heritage still calls us to seek out for the loving, the benevolent, the kind that exists beyond our comprehension. We hold together such a deep belief in human potential. We've seen the hints of a better way for all of us to live, and we hold on to those tightly. But at the same time, we realize that we are all quite small, that there are forces bigger and deeper than we can understand at work in the great universe of ours. This paradox has power, real power, I believe. These two circles hum with potential energy, holding them together and keeping them apart. Pema Chodron teaches that life is what happens when nothing is resolved. Sure, we, like these two rings, have moments where everything aligns, where peace and contentment reign, but those moments are too often the exception. Most of our life is lived in the great tension of unrealized hopes and dreams paired with moments of joy and wonder. The Buddha taught us that in this middle way, we would find true life. But I've come to see that middle way as not the easiest path between two extremes, but the great balancing act of trying to hold on to two divine truths at the same time, even as they are seemingly opposites. It is this balancing act that makes showing up here every Sunday possible. It means that on one hand, we can state boldly our shared moral, justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity values, and not fall apart when we fail to live up to those values. I came to Unitarian Universalism at one of the great turning points of my life, leaving the Mormon faith of my childhood. I then went through the process of becoming a minister, only to set aside for 5 years to raise my youngest daughter. Now I return to Unitarian Universalism again at another great turning point in my life. And just like before, it's held me close. Not with simple answers, but with a deep honoring of the tension between all the complex parts of me trying to come together to form a holistic story. If I were to venture a name change for this great faith of ours, it would be the Meetinghouse of the Exquisitely Human. We are not our budget, we are not our programs, we are not our polity, as essential as those are. We are hurting, loving, wild, unpredictable humans meeting in holy houses across the land. Basking in how exquisitely, messily, lovably, and unlovably human the person is sitting next to us. We, lovers of paradox, could proudly say that we are the meeting house of the exquisitely human and meh, all at the same time. But I'm happy to say that we remain Unitarian Universalists. We hold on to these names of our traditions, not just because agreeing on a new name would be very difficult, but because they still hold great truths to pass on to us. This faith says that you contain multitudes. It reminds you to be big, to take up space, to honor your voice, even when it breaks. And it reminds you that there is a lot more going on in this life, this universe, than you. This beautiful faith needs you. It needs your time, it needs your talent, it needs your treasure. The budget is underfunded, the faith formation program needs more volunteers, and God forbid no one makes coffee. That's the good, morally guided soul in you, the good Unitarian. That urge to show up and live up to your potential, to resist Christian nationalism, transphobia, racial profiling, and state control of individuals' reproductive capacities. Our annual giving drive that I am happy to help coordinate is just around the corner, and I believe that the work of this congregation deserves to be funded, not just out of obligation, but out of an irresistible tugging of this community's purpose and people on your heart. My plea to you is that as you strive to heed the call of this good moral Unitarian, you also heed the call of softness, of the beautiful, of forgiveness, of tenderness and messiness, and that may hold equal sway. As much as we need the useful you, the generous you, the competent you, we even more need the hurting you. We need the you in mourning. We need the you in celebration. You are most welcome here when the most you can do is show up and be and cry and hug. If the budget is met, the classroom staffed, and the coffee full, but a hurting soul shows up at our doorstep and is not met with care and love and acceptance, we have failed. So come here and be exquisitely human. Come here and be Unitarian Universalists. Thank you.
If you'll join us in singing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life, Rise in Body or Spirit, please.
I switched off. Y'all.
Got it. Yep, thanks. So this is the time in our service when we invite anyone who's visiting us to, if you're willing, stand up, introduce yourself, tell us where you're visiting from so that we can welcome you and ushers should have some microphones going around. Yep. Is there anyone that's visiting that would like to let us know that you're here and where you're coming from? Right over here.
Hi, my name is Laura. I'm visiting my mom, Marianne. I'm here from Pittsburgh.
Welcome. Anyone else? Just raise your hand. We'll come around. Don't be shy.
My mom is visiting here from Winter Park, Florida.
Welcome. Right over here.
Thank you for everybody and for receive my family and my friend for Oaxaca. Your name is Benito. Thank you for everything.
Welcome. All right. Well, whether you stood up or not, if you have not yet met Trevor, this is Trevor, our member connections coordinator, and he can answer all of your questions if you have any about our congregation or anything that we're doing here. He's a great resource, and he will be here after the service. That run at the beginning of the service. If you didn't see them, they're in the e-newsletter that comes out every Thursday. If you don't subscribe to that, you can subscribe online. I do have one quick announcement that we need some volunteers to help clean up coffee after this. Not just make the coffee, but also clean up the coffee. So if you are willing to stay for a few minutes after this, 2 or 3 people could knock it out really quickly. Just connect with Trevor afterwards. And I'm going to put one more plug in for signing up for the coffee shift Sign Up Genius that comes out. This is super easy. It's really essential so that we can foster this sense of community during our coffee hours, and it shouldn't fall to just the same people. So please, if you can just get on the list and then sign up anytime you can. They're short shifts, and it goes a long way to building community here. And you get to learn how that dishwasher works, so that's a bonus. So our community plate recipient this month is the Carolina Abortion Fund. There's more information in the e-newsletters, probably the best place to find it, probably on the website too. And if you want to donate to them specifically with check, write community plate in the memo line of your check. Cash donations are split between the community plate and the general fund. And you can also donate online. So the work of our ministries and congregation are entirely supported by our members and friends. That's you guys. We celebrate your generosity each week with music and thanks. You make all of this possible. We give thanks for you, and the offering will now be gratefully collected. of your presence, time, wisdom, and resources. We are truly grateful.
We're going to sing together the first verse of Answering the Call of Love, and we'll sing the refrain twice. So please rise if you are able.
All blessings on you today. It's a joy to have you in our presence. May you find joy out in the world together. Please join us for our benedictory hymn. Please rise and body your spirit.